It's WrestleMania Fallout and the announcement of the WWE Draft. Right here, tonight, on In This Very Ring.
Oh my God!
I'm embarrassed!
You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of In This Very Ring, right here live on A2D Radio's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am Ritz, and joining me as he does each and every Saturday night, the mayor of Toasty Town, the man they call Butters. Butters, how you doing?
I am doing great, and fantastic.
Which is a lot better than the last time we saw you. At the end of WrestleMania Night 2, this man was pissed.
This was an understatement.
It is. But before we get into that, we want to thank our sponsors, Owens Travel. Owens Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney Universal or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Allons-y on over to allons-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself, Chucks, or one of the other talented travel agents that we have at Allons-y Travel. And let us start creating your magical vacation today. I actually just booked WrestleMania weekend. I booked a sandals trip. First one of doing that, so we do have sandals and beaches. So that was a lot of fun. You actually got to watch all that play out because you literally spent the entire weekend at my house, save for sleeping.
Right?
But let's talk before we get into the poll question, we get into the topic of the conversation. We do kind of really have to set the stage a little bit when you think about our poll question, and then you think about how Saturday and Sunday went, which we talked about. You can go back and check it in the archives. We did 9 hours of live reactions between the two nights. It was exhausting by the time I'm not kidding. Like, we did Saturday night, we did Sunday night. I got off the air Sunday, and I got to send another big shout out to everybody we had on the air with us last weekend, from Brittany and Joe to Jax to Silent Hill, Jesse, Jay, Lauren, Tony, Veronica, BJ. Everybody, the whole weekend that we had on the show with us, huge thank you to them. And they also, everybody that was on Sunday stayed, helped us get everything downstairs cleaned up, so I didn't have anything to worry about. And thank God I didn't, because I was exhausted. I was spent. And then I had to do Extravagant Adventures this past Wednesday, where we talked about Disney's Animal Kingdom. And now we're doing this tonight. I'll tell you what, I don't have any shows next week. No Extravagant. And we're doing our annual WrestleMania break. Like, we always do WrestleMania. We do our recap. And then we're off the week after. So I have no shows. My voice can take a rest. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But to further that just a little bit, we got some comments flying in. Pete Evans over there on YouTube. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Pete. He agrees to the poll. He also says it's the brothers, one hair and one without. He jumps over to Facebook to say that. You guys can check Pete out every single Thursday night. Birds of a Feather right here on A2D Radio. We do have some exciting news that we're going to announce later on in the show about Birds of a Feather and upcoming Birds of a Feather. So stay tuned for that. Steven chiming in, before you say anything, fuck senile ass Vince. We're going to get into it. And then Jake Friel, also from Birds of a Feather. I don't think I've ever seen Butters without a hat on. ... Interesting. So WrestleMania has always been a time for debuts, returns, shocking moments. And don't get me wrong, we had our fair share of moments from this WrestleMania that I think we will always remember. From Ray coming out to Eddie's music in the Lowrider with Snoop Dogg, to Shane McMahon tearing his quad, to Sami and Kevin Owens. On a leapfrog. Sami and Kevin Owens winning the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles, from Roman Reigns beating Cody, Rhea Ripley winning the SmackDown Women's title. We have a plethora of moments to remember. But the problem is, we had nothing shocking. We had no debuts. We had no returns. No call-ups of any kind.
We had a return.
Bite me. And I was thinking about that when you sent me the criteria, as you always do. And I fluffed it up a little bit. And as I was writing the fluff, I was like, well, I could include Matt Riddle. Fuck Matt Riddle. It's exactly what I said. We got more firing in here. The Godfather himself, Butters. Well, Tom saying Butters, and then Butters with goats. Tom said just had a bagel and butter. I swear to God, we have some weird people here. Dynasty says, you mean the dad from the Addams Family? Okay. Frank Vespi says, hello, I like the Animal Kingdom. Oh, crap, wrong show. Fair enough. Damien said, y'all should do the Triple H voice for the announcement.
Good.
If my voice wasn't so destroyed, like I try, and I also had karaoke Tuesday and Thursday night. I tried just like singing a little bit this morning on the way to work. My voice hurts so bad to do anything other than just regular talking. Tom says, oh, hi, Andy. Didn't see you there. Yeah. I agree to the poll so I don't get DM'd. Fair enough. Dynasty says, but what about Shane? Frank says, I wanted Cody to win. Dynasty says, Vince, LOL. And Frank says, I like Rhea Ripley and Stacy Keibler. Who doesn't?
Shane, you mean want to knock out Kevin Nash?
Yeah, pretty much. So on that, we get to Raw and SmackDown. And Raw and SmackDown, well, yeah, we're going to get into it. Our poll question is brought to you by our friends at Specialized Physical Therapy. You can check Dr. Paul Lydell and his team at his 2 locations, Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's our doc. Make him yours. Dr. Paul Vidal, SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. The WWE Universe holds the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania to a very high standard. Agree, disagree. Butters, I have some sharing to do, so you answer the poll and elaborate.
I agree wholeheartedly. Between me, you, the rest of the WWE Universe, that standard is high. It's hard to lower that standard because it's something we've always been accustomed to, been used to, with new call-ups, big-time returns. It's just special moments in Raw and SmackDown that whole week after WrestleMania. It's just special moment after special moment. It's always been the biggest 2 nights of the year after WrestleMania, and it's just this year fell completely flat on their face like Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania.
Ooh, damn. That one hurt me a little bit.
After watching SmackDown last night, after I didn't get to watch Monday Night Raw, but after reading about it, I was like,
you didn't miss much.
Exactly. I'm just like, what the hell happened? Where's all of our, where's some debuts? Where's a good return? We had one whole whopping return both nights. One.
And let's be very clear. Not to take anything away from Matt Riddle. Right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not his fault at the end of the day. It's really not. Right? It's not his fault that, he kind of got put out there and everybody ate him up. Right?
Yep.
It's not his fault that I couldn't care less that he's there. I mean, Is his fault, but I don't give a shit.
And then with me, now I'm confused. after Monday night comes out, squashes the Miz on his face. Friday night comes out to save Sami from the Usos. Where the fuck are we going with this? Is he just gonna come out to whatever and feel like whatever, or are we just gonna have him 2 storylines at once?
I honestly don't think they know what they're doing.
And this brings back to the point of Vince is back.
Steven says, worst Raw after Mania ever.
Oh, 100%.
And Silent Hill chiming in says, Roman Reigns.
Fuck Roman.
Fuck. All right, so I'm going to agree that we do hold it to a high standard.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm also going to disagree to the poll. Let me tell you why. We hold it to such a high standard because that's what we've been conditioned to expect. And year after year, WWE either sets the bar or levels out, right? I can't remember a year where I would get to the Raw after WrestleMania and go, this sucked. Or the Smackdown after WrestleMania and not even watch it. Right? Knowing that Hunter was going to come out and do an announcement. Knowing that Sami was going to fight Jimmy. Right? It was Jimmy? Mm-hmm. Knowing all of that, I still said, who cares? And Uso.
It does matter for storyline.
No, we'll get to that later. But in all intents and purposes,
yeah,
right? He's fighting an Uso. I don't care. That's how I felt come Friday night, come last night.
And see, when I shared our group about the Triple H announcement,
yeah,
I put in there. You saw what I put in there. It's like, oh boy, it's probably gonna be the same shit he said Monday night.
Well, no, I think I said that. And then you piggybacked hours later off of that, expanding on it. Because somebody posted it. Well, fuck it, I'll go to it. I don't give a shit.
No, you're good. Yeah. You think. Because it just, knowing that Triple H was making
Oh, yeah, guaranteed same shit Monday. That was a different group. I said same shit, different show. My bad.
All good, all good. But, it's just like guaranteed he's going to say the same. What happened? He said the same shit. And then just added a one whole.
But so this is where I'll give Triple H some credit. Okay, he came out. He reiterated his position from Monday night,
yep.
Which, in all intents and purposes, there's no harm there. There is no harm you coming out, and he didn't open the show, which I thought was also smart. He let.
I was actually set the stage a little bit. I was at the shop, which is usually where I watch my SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as it came on, I literally walked my ass to in front of the TV. It was there because I was honestly expecting Triple H to open up, so I'd just be able to listen to the announcement
and then go back to what you were doing.
And go back to what I was doing because it was going to be a fucked up announcement. All of a sudden, we open up with the 6-man tag match.
Which I don't hate that. I don't.
No. That's 100%.
Because you can't have both shows start off with Triple H. Now, if he was going to come out and give us something else other than the draft, then probably yes, you should start it off. Starting off Monday night. All right, this is an unpopular opinion. I have no problem with him coming out and saying what he said Monday night. I have no problem him coming out on the heels of one of the best WrestleManias in a while. He played the Vince role. If you go back and you watch how he comes out and how the place starts cheering for him. Everything that plays into his entrance. He's doing what Vince has done the last 6 years on the Raw after WrestleMania. Yep. Which, and whether you like Vince, hate Vince, whatever, I don't have a problem with you coming out after your Super Bowl saying, hey, thank you guys, here's what we did, blah, 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 and then fuck off and leave. Which has been about what Vince has done the last couple years. I'm fine with that. Couple that with the fact that I woke up to the announcement because obviously we're in Texas, so time zones. They announced it before the stock market opened, which was huge. that the deal with Endeavor had been finalized, which I kind of saw coming. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was Endeavor, but I figured a sale was coming because Nick Khan had been making the rounds WrestleMania weekend doing media, which he hadn't really done before. Nobody ever really has done before WrestleMania weekend. Triple H, Vince, Stephanie, none of them. You typically see them after the fact, or the pressers that Triple H has been doing. Hold on, we got some comments. He lied. Who lied? Silent Hill. Hold on, there's more to it. He said the WWE you know and love wasn't going anywhere, and then we got that Raw. Okay, I see what he's doing there. I'm gonna expand on everything though. Hold on. Steven says Vince didn't have the balls to come out and face that legitimately pissed off crowd. He would have gotten true heat. But and Damien, I'll go to yours in a minute when you're talking about the draft. I'll go to yours in just a second. I see it over there, but yours is more draft, and I'm not 100% there yet. I have no problem with Triple H coming out because Triple H is the de facto guy, right? Nick Khan's not going to walk out. Nobody knows, other than the people that are really paying attention. The person sitting in section 102, row 7, seat 4, has no fucking clue who Nick Khan is. Right? And so sending Triple H out to say, hey guys, thank you. Thank you for WrestleMania. Thank the state of California for the hospitality. Blah, 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 blah. Doing it on a public forum rather than just on the presser the night before or the 2 nights before. Where I take issue is kind of where Chris is going. You tell me that the WWE I know and love isn't going anywhere. Now, on the surface, in a corporate setting, and whatever, okay, fine. Right?
Because deep down, he was talking about the Endeavor show.
Yeah, and on the taking myself out of the moment of what would come, like the Raw that would come after it. I know what he's saying. Hey, just because we were sold doesn't mean anything's changing. We're still going to provide the same type of product.
Correct.
Our shows are the same. Our schedule is the same. Blah, 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 blah. We just have a new person writing the checks. Okay, fine. Now, when 2-3 hours later, and I finish whatever the fuck that Raw was, I'm annoyed. And I'm pissed off. Because, and I think to some extent, I can't even blame the crowd. Normally, in these scenarios, I do want to blame the crowd because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they want to take over the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yep.
But that wasn't really the case here.
No.
Like, Seth came out to the ring. Here's a perfect example. Seth Rollins, on the heels of a really decent match with Logan Paul. About as good of a match as you can have with Logan Paul. No disrespect to Logan Paul whatsoever. I thought he was really, really good on Sunday. Had no problem with that. But he's not going to put on, a Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Gunther level match. But he's going to he did good. He did fine. No worries. You send him out there, he conducts the crowd, they go to commercial, get the fuck out of the ring.
Hey, did you see that video?
Yeah.
Did he look truly pissed?
I would be too.
Because Vince was literally changing.
And okay. It's eventually going to get to a point where it pisses me off. And not the Vince is back there changing everything. Mm-hmm. Not the fact that he's back there. I get it. I think in my head, when I look at it from a corporate level, there's a small part of me that says he's back there helping with transition of whatever, showing the Endeavor people how things are done. What I can come up with some kind of idea. And I could be wrong. Before you guys go batshit crazy in the chat, I understand I could be wrong. But we don't know everything. And we may never know everything. I'm sure somewhere down the line, a documentary is going to come out about this weekend and how it all played out. God, I hope it does. Because I like the WWE documentaries. I think they're good.
Yeah.
Fuck, we watched them getting ready for WrestleMania Sunday. But I don't want every time that we don't like something to just immediately blame Vince.
Yeah.
Right?
But this one, they knew it was Vince. And
again, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for...
Whereas with... Well, no, I'm just saying...
this is a preemptive strike against these comments.
Whereas with SmackDown, Vince was off in the office somewhere on a...
And that still sucked.
Well, no, they said it was a little bit better because he didn't change up as much. And they said morale was a little higher because he wasn't even there.
And I'm okay in hindsight. Hindsight's always 2020, right?
Correct.
When I heard Vince was at Raw, don't get me wrong, I was like, this isn't gonna be good. Some dumb shenanigan is gonna happen.
Well, and then when I heard he was, doing his typical rip scripts and rewrites at the last minute, I was like, oh, well.
And to a certain extent, you really can't. A leopard will never change its spots.
Yes.
Right? It's like...
I was so wondering if you were going to say stripes.
No. But you can't expect him to be backstage on that kind of day. The Raw after WrestleMania. We also just announced a merger. When it sounds like that's when everybody found out. Not just like you and me sitting at home. It sounds like top down, everybody in the company found out on Monday. So I can only imagine how things were back there. And I'm not going to try to imagine how things were back there. Right? And Vince hasn't been back there for a while. So yeah, people are going to walk on eggshells. If you look at it and you really think about it, Vince kind of got bought out. Because Vince had 51%. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know more. Endeavor does. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like he got bought out. And it was kind of one of those swan song kind of things, which I can only hope, please don't ever come back. Right? But even still, SmackDown sucked too. It would have been one thing. It would have been... Stop. It would have been one thing if just Raw had sucked. Mm-hmm. Right? Then I would be sitting here saying, fuck them. Get the pitchforks. Get the flaming 2x4s. Let's go get them. Right? But they both sucked. And it's been known that Vince didn't change a lot of SmackDown.
Yeah.
So that tells me on the onset, SmackDown sucked before we even got to whatever fucking arena we were in.
Because it wasn't the SmackDown we knew after WrestleMania.
No. They didn't even set it up to be. That's what you're missing. They didn't even try.
They just set it up as a SmackDown.
Exactly, and that's my point. The SmackDown sucked. Take out the fact that it was SmackDown after WrestleMania. The show sucked. Right? Now, I'm sure some of the matches were fine. I'm sure some of the wrestling was okay. Right? And I know there's comments out the yin-yang up here. I'm going to get to them in a minute. Okay? But I can't get on this train. I can't go down this rabbit hole of... I need to pick my words because this is a weekend where you don't say what I was about to say. Vince McMahon is the bad guy, and everything he touches turns to dust. I don't want to do that. It's the reason why I don't talk about Tony Khan as much anymore, because I got so tired of talking about it. I got so tired. And I'll give Tony Khan credit. His announcement on Wednesday was a true announcement.
Yeah.
Right? Great. Awesome. Now, fuck off and get back in whatever bowel of the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium they put you in.
You can tell it was hard on him to do it, but it was a good announcement.
So, Brodo says, hello, Andy and Butters. Hello, Brodo. Edie, long time no see. Hello, guys. What crossover WWE UFC you want, even though it's only a one? I don't care. Because I don't watch enough UFC to give a damn. Steven says, good save, Rich. Silent Hill says, Vince cracked his knuckles and said, watch me work. That's pretty much what happened.
Right.
Edie goes, as long as Vince is healthy and can walk, he has the power in WWE to change everything in creative. The only he doesn't have is he had higher boss and no, he doesn't have shit anymore. And he more or less said that.
I was about to say, that's what he's saying. He was the big boss. Now he's got a boss above him that can fire him if things don't go well.
No, but he doesn't have. He doesn't have. He was asked. He was asked on one. I don't know the news outlet. I don't know the show, but he did a show on Monday, and he was asked, "Are you stepping back into the creative role?" And Vince said yes and no.
He wasn't getting into the weeds of it.
Right. He's not going to get into the weeds of it. He's going to do the higher level stuff. Whatever the fuck that means. Right. I don't. That's yet to be seen. And I'll give him, and this always comes back to bite me in the ass, but I will still do it because it's the right thing to do. I will give him benefit of the doubt to at least explain to me what the fuck the higher level is. If that's like the promotional graphics, the conversations with the arenas, the conversations with the other sporting commissions and countries and whatever, where are we going, that kind of stuff. And I don't know if talent relations would fall under creative to a certain extent. That kind of stuff, I am okay with. Fine. Work the logistical things behind the scenes. Stay the fuck out of a writer's room.
Well, that's the thing is, he said he's not getting in the weeds, but being in the creative and the writing and all, that's in the weeds, damn it.
Right, and again, we don't know the story of why he did that Monday night. And I'm not saying he's an angel, right? Damien says, I bet UFC's regretting partnering with WWE after Raw and Smackdown this week. Let me be very clear. If they're regretting it after just this week, then out the gate, wrong deal, right? Wrong people to be in business with. Damien says, Ritz, if you believe anything that Vince says, you need therapy. First of all, we're not going to take shots like that because if you're listening to the words that I'm saying, I'm quoting. And I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. Okay? Because all of this is not even a week old. This is the problem I have with the internet wrestling community and really society in general more times than not. We are so prone to see something and jump off a fucking bridge. How many times have we done shows, not just us, but look at HUD as a whole, where we've done shows on this platform minutes after the ending of an Eagles game, or a Phillies game, or a Sixers game, or a Flyers game. And you got people running for the highest point just so they can jump off. And then a day later, everything's fine. Stop it. Let it play out. What did I tell you at the end of WrestleMania?
I don't remember. I've slept since then.
I said, I am going to wait and see what they do next with this Cody Rhodes losing to Roman Reigns thing. I'm going to let the week play out before I make any kind of decision. Don't know if Brock was the right call.
I want to see what Cody's announcement is on Monday.
But exactly. I don't know if it's the right call. I kind of want to see a little bit. But again, that's the story that's the kind of story I like. It's no different than I'm watching Picard right now. And every single week, it's, all right, well, where are you going with that? I like it so far, but where are you going with that? And yes, Steven, I see. Give me a second. He goes, how many times has Vince said something kayfabe or not kayfabe, and then the opposite happens? No shit. But how many times has he meant what he said, done what he said? You can have this conversation both ways, dude. I'm not going to sit here and defend Vince McMahon. I'm not going to take that side. I'm not going to bash the guy either. Right? If you guys have an opinion about Vince, I'm all for it, right? You can have whatever opinion you want. My job, as I sit in this seat right here, and I host this show, and at least in my opinion, is to look at both sides. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take the words that are said from the man, and that is what I'm going to go off of. Now, whether he proves me right, or I phrase that, whether he proves himself right, or he proves himself wrong, that's on him. I don't believe, I sold cars for 8.5 years. I don't believe a fucking thing anybody says. Because I dealt with society in a retail fashion. Yeah. I'm very cynical when it comes to me believing somebody. Now, my inner circle of friends, different story, and that's neither here nor there. But when it comes to people I don't know, I don't believe anything. But I go off of what is said, what is recorded, what I can visually see is happening. And that's how I report things back here. That's why the conversations we've had. Half the shit I come up with on this show, I may or may not agree with. But it's because I'm looking at both sides. It's not cut and dry like it is talking about somebody's contract in the NFL, talking about a play call, talking about the decision to trade this guy to this team. We're not behind the closed doors. We're not behind the curtain. We don't know what's going on. All we can do is infer. Just like we do when we watch our favorite TV shows. We don't know what's coming. Anybody that's been watching Star Wars Celebration this weekend, Katie Sackhoff said, I know what we've shot in these last 2 episodes, and there's a lot coming for The Mandalorian. She knows. I don't have a fucking clue. She could be lying to me for all I fucking know. And they could sit there and play Galaga with Grogu for 45 minutes an episode.
Really? Aren't they really? I mean, technically, aren't they really playing Galaga?
No, I mean physically sitting there with a fucking Atari controller. No, I know what you were doing, but I'm just saying with a God blessed Atari controller.
I mean, he was playing with a paintball gun.
Yeah. You know, Steven says higher level equals Barry Bray, push Omos.
Comment from earlier, a little further up.
Yeah. Tom says, by the way, love the belt sitting there. Never said that before. Oh, I love it too. Chrome jumps in with a paragraph, so bear with us. Hey, fella. No, and I like this. I'm just skimming it. I like this so far. Hey, fellas, hashtag disagree to the poll. WWE set that standard, and they themselves have leaned into it, which is what I started off my conversation with. They did a whole WWE 24 and how important and huge the night after Mania is. They've also done so in order, there's a camera in the way. They've done so in order to drive ticket sales and television ratings. They're leaning into it and promoting it as a huge deal. They should be expected to uphold the standard they set and deliver. And that was kind of how I led things off at the top of the show was I agree because it's what we've been conditioned to believe because of WWE. And that's why I agreed and disagreed all at the same time. Yeah. WWE set that standard for us. And Chrome hits the nail on the head when it comes to what we as fans believe when it comes to Raw and SmackDown. And even NXT to some extent.
Yep.
Right? So I don't often agree with Chrome, and I might go see somebody for this. To Damien's point, I agree with everything he said there. Right? I have no qualms with it. My qualms with it, with all of it is, hold on. I'm saying another thing. They're using it to make money off of us, so they absolutely should have their feet to the fire. held to the fire.
I agree to that.
I agree to that too. The fact and look, I don't watch every single week live. I'll watch a replay here. I'll watch a clip here. Every so often I'm home and I'll sit down and I'll put it on as background noise because I get home as Raw starts. So I typically come in late anyway. But I made sure that I was home early Monday so I could start out the gate. I got home by 7 o'clock, like I do every Raw after WrestleMania. I'm home before 7 o'clock. I'm settled. I'm watching. I sat downstairs because I was eating dinner for 2.5 hours. Until I found a point where I could come upstairs and transition up here. And it wasn't because I was captivated. I was waiting for something to happen. I will take shitty segments if something cool at the end of it happens. That being said, I will take all the bullshit that was the Brock and Cody and Roman segment that started the show at some point to get what we got at the end of the night. Went on a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I was fine with it. I was fine with Cody getting his ass kicked. It was actually kind of funny in a really morbid, fucked up sort of way.
You're already in a morbid, fucked up side.
No, you're right. But, all right. Edie. Where'd the mouse go? Edie says, which WWE UFC crossover do you want to see in the future? Either as only appearances or possibly fight in the ring. Buddy, I don't watch enough UFC to truly care or even tell you who the fuck fights. So I don't know. Chrome goes, I thought the opening... Again, I gotta move that camera. I thought the opening and close to Raw actually delivered. Profits versus Owens, Sami made sense coming out of Mania, and they delivered. The rest of the show stunk. No NXT call-ups. Underwhelming returns. Show was not good. Huge fumble with WWE. And he hits the nail on the head right there. Boom. Perfect. Right? The Riddle call-up was lackluster at best. The tag team match was really good. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can take every segment, and if you watch every segment back, you could, and maybe it's just because I've been watching way too much wrestling and way too much TV just as a whole. I could pick out, oh, you could have done something there. You could have done something there. You could have done something there. That person could have come out and done this. Right? And they did none of it. You squandered it all. For why? For Matt Riddle? For Brock to turn on Cody, which again was fine. The Brock Cody thing was great.
You're gonna feel like that's all you gave us?
But that is all they fucking gave us. They gave me Matt Riddle returning to crickets. In the grand scheme of it all. Crickets.
Everybody must have been high.
No.
That's my point.
No, because I think somebody high would still have more of a reaction. And again, I can't say enough good things though about Brock and Cody. I don't say it saved the show, but it helped. It helped me not come on the air and just completely shit on the entire company. And you fast forward to Friday, right? Again, some of the wrestling was really good. The wrestling was really good. And the Triple H announcement was I liked it. I liked the draft. I love draft season here. It's NFL draft season now. And then I would assume they're probably going to do things right around the same time. Or they're going to do it right after Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? So I'm totally okay with the draft coming back. No problem with it because Damien's comment up there earlier. Let me get to it. That's why I waited because I knew I was segueing to this. Why the hell do we need the draft when both brands cross over to the other brands? There's no point in a damn draft. You want to take this one?
I got this one for you.
Okay.
Because more than likely, crossover shit's going to stop. When we get the draft, Triple H said the game is going to change entirely. So more than likely, all this cross-promotion, crossover bullshit is going to stop, for one, with the draft. We're going to fully get the brand split. The brands are split. You stay on your side. You stay on your side. The only time you're going to come over is if we decide to have a cross-promotional match at a pay-per-view or WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we may get a new title. We may actually see 2 world titles again. They may tell Roman, hey, that belt's becoming one, and we're putting another one on a different show.
Because he did say the game would change.
So more than likely, with the draft, we're getting the full brand split. Is kind of what I'm getting from his game will change.
And they're going to stick to it. Chrome says we should do a draft preview show. You guys, me and Pete, fantasy book the draft and the directions we'd like to see some feuds. I'm interested. Obviously dates withstanding because like I said, we have an announcement later on in the show regarding Birds of a Feather, and then obviously we're going to run through our schedule because we have next week off, and then we might not be doing WrestleMania Backlash, but we'll talk about all that as the night progresses. You guys know they're doing the draft so they can create a new world title and keep the title on Roman, right? LOL. And
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that now because it did what it needed to do. The title's being unified at WrestleMania did what it needed to do. It cemented Roman, because Roman beat Brock. It cemented Roman as the tribal chief, the head of the table, and he carried him for a year.
And it gets rid of both the blue and red title. It can be the WWE World title again, and then they can just have a whole new belt.
And I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with them using the draft as the catalyst to do this, rather than just randomly one night coming out and saying, "Okay, Roman, we're doing this and this with your titles," because I think that would just fall flat. The draft gives you that opportunity not the opportunity, the loophole to do what you want to do with the draft.
Yeah.
So I'm totally okay with that. There's a small part of me, because we talk about the Raw and Smackdown after WrestleMania, there's a small part of me that says WWE should do the draft right after WrestleMania. Maybe not the Raw and Smackdown after WrestleMania. Maybe not necessarily take your Fallout, do your Fallout week, but the following week, draft. Right?
I like how most sports do it right after.
A couple weeks after, a couple months after, NFL does 2 months after. Hockey, I swear to God, I think sometimes hockey's the same week. Basketball, I think they do it middle of the season. It all feels like those two feel like they run together. Chrome says it's a better idea than the original idea to just have a random new title and champ be crowned night one of Mania. And that's my point. This gives them that.
And it would be better to do the draft in between WrestleMania and Backlash. You just have a small little.
Because if you remember a few years ago, they did the draft, but the new roster didn't take place till the next pay-per-view, which was 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Todd Womack, the fuck have you been? Todd goes, Asuka should have won, ... I have spoken. I don't disagree with you.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you. But something tells me Asuka's going to be the new Undertaker. No, Asuka, Bianca.
Chris said, scrap the Miz segment, save Riddles for SmackDown like they did, and it would have been a bigger deal. No.
It might have been a little bit bigger.
Maybe.
But to be quite honest, yeah, you could have scrapped that Miz. Well, you could have the Miz. You could have somebody else come and do it. and just have Riddle come out and say that would have been done better instead of going with fucking storylines he's doing SmackDown or Raw.
Chrome goes, hell must be cold tonight, Andy, with us being on the same page. Again, I don't feel like my comments are appropriate for this weekend. Just given it's Passover, it's Easter. Somebody referred to it as Holy Week. So, to get out of this part,
holy hell.
Chrome, Jesus Christ.
Where?
Stop it. Chrome also agrees with Todd. Asuka should have won.
Oh, God.
But I'm okay with the draft. I'm okay with the draft coming up. I'm okay with the way Triple H announced it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, I'll throw this out there because as I was writing the show, well, fluffing up the show.
I was about to say, I write, he fluffs.
Yeah. Well, because for SEO and different things like that, you give me the outline of what we want to talk about, and then I'll go in and readjust it and whatever have you. Jay White makes his debut on All Elite Wrestling Wednesday night.
Yep. Big pickup for AEW.
Huge pickup for AEW. Supposedly, WWE had months of TV written surrounding Jay White. Does anybody think that Monday White told WWE officials essentially go fuck yourself? I'm not signing with you. And they had to rewrite everything, and that's why we got what we fucking got?
It's possible. It's possible that he didn't like. Because do you really think though that they would have given straight to Raw?
Yes.
You don't think he would have gotten an NXT run first?
No. I don't. And
I'm just curious.
no, and I know where you're going with this. Given his popularity,
mm-hmm.
and given his connection to so many people on the main roster through the Bullet Club, no, I don't see him going. You put him down there
now. And this is not to hate on Vince or anything, but do you think that him seeing Vince coming back was like, maybe I need to hold off and see where this all goes?
I'm going to go a little higher than that. I think it's part of it. I think the announcement, the Endeavor announcement, made him, and I see Silent Hill's comment over there about WWE higher-ups weren't communicating with White.
Well, I also read
but to finish my point off of that, you are great at interrupting me. You know that?
I try not to.
It pisses me off. My point off of that, though, is White woke up, saw it was sold, knew that nobody was talking to him, and said, fuck this, I'm out. Yeah, and then Chrome says White signed before WrestleMania was reported. All right, I didn't know that. I'm going to still stay on this little high horse here for a second. Only to finish my thought out.
Okay.
I think that kind of all played a part in it. Now, to Chrome's point, he signed before WrestleMania. I didn't know that.
I didn't either, but I've heard, today, reading that apparently WWE has been on a big hiring freeze. So that may have played into it a little bit too.
Because they're selling the fucking company.
Yeah.
Right now, in hindsight, that all makes sense. Don, what's up, Don? What's up, fellas? Who would have thought Rey Mysterio's son would become one of the biggest villains in the game? Is he though?
He's starting to become a little popular behind the scenes.
I know behind the scenes he's becoming popular. But is it really him that's the villain? Or is it really Rhea Ripley?
Oh, you mean the Eradicator?
What?
Yeah, Triple H, after his big announcement, announced Rhea Ripley to the ring as the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley.
I don't hate that.
I was a little shy. I said, the Eradicator?
I don't think I hate that. But to go a little bit further though, I'm gonna give Dominic Mysterio all the freaking credit in the world because he has, other than right out the gate, just kind of getting acclimated to being on the road and being on the main roster and all that other stuff. Dominic's done great in the ring.
Yes.
With now that they kind of found a little niche for him and a true story for him to follow through, other than being a supporting character in like the Aaliyah Buddy Murphy thing from a few years ago, or a supporting character in the Rey Mysterio Edge tag team right before the turn. I think he's done great. But when I look at the story and the actual story, like I take the I talk about wrestling and I put on the it's still real to me, damn it hat. It feels like Rhea's the puppet master.
Oh, 100%.
And I watch a lot. I read a lot of comic book stuff and all that. And she's infected the mind of Dominic Mysterio. Right? And so she's the true villain in this story. And it plays out. But I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. I think Dom is fantastic. Chrome says, Dom's the third best heel in wrestling right now under Roman and MJF. They're all three on a different level than anybody else. Completely agree. I think MJF is a better heel than Roman. Only because MJF's more of an asshole.
No, I'm just saying, interesting.
Right? I think Roman's better in the ring, better overall. And the story, I think, is a little bit better. But again, we've had more of it than we've had of the MJF stuff. But because MJF is just a prick that you want to see get punched in the mouth, whereas Roman, all we want is for him to lose his title. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference there. But that's the Chrome's point. They're all three on different levels. So you can't truly compare them, in my opinion. But again, Dominic Mysterio, he's taken this and run. Now, the question is, and this, in my opinion, is the true test. When he has to go against somebody that's not his father, can he maintain this level of, for lack of a better phrase, excellence? Will it all hit the right way? Only time will tell, really. Looks like they're kind of transitioning into a feud with the LWO as they build towards WrestleMania Backlash.
Which I don't hate.
I don't either. So let's go.
We'll probably see Bad Bunny in the LWO.
Yeah, they tried. Damian Hernandez, is it sad the only best thing that came out of WWE this week, other than Mania Weekend, was Priest beating the hell out of Bad Bunny and still considers his friend? Like, what the fuck? Huh?
Smackdown segment.
No. I get that. Ugh. Todd, I give Dom credit that how funny it was for him to go to jail, and he took it to another level. I never thought I would say these words out loud in a sentence before. Him going to jail was the best thing that could ever happen to him. I feel dirty for saying that. Like a bad person. Like, I'm a bad person thinking.
Did he get you the soap?
No. But like I feel like I get it. It's a story. I get it. It's a character. He didn't really go to jail, but like, yeah, leaves a weird feeling and weird taste in my mouth to say those words.
I was like, man, you better word it right.
Yeah. Don. It's great advice for kids growing up. Plot twist. I'm a youth advisor.
Yeah.
Todd, absolutely. I'm glad you said it. I don't mind saying it. I've said a lot worse, but Hey, kids, stay in school and go to jail. No, I'm kidding. Stay in school. But it was the best thing that could have happened for his character. A lot of things started to make sense, and he kind of went that. He found a really weird way to do it, but he took that jailed up gangster, Latino gangster, all of that borderline stereotype.
Blood in, blood out.
Yeah, and made it work for him and his personality and his whatever, almost like a preppy, like try hard, kind of gangster.
I was a little shocked though for Friday night that when you have Judgment Day come out, it was actually with them, like nothing had happened.
Yeah, 14 stables will do that for you.
I spent a lot of good fucking meds to say that.
Todd goes, so with the draft, is this the way you break up the bloodline because Jay's beating Roman? And I was going to bring that up. And I didn't know if I wanted to do that on this show or once they actually announced when the draft was. No, but let's kind of touch on it a little bit.
Okay.
There is a part of me that says, no, you don't break the bloodline up. You don't ever break the bloodline up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if anything, it just becomes a power struggle. There's another part of me that says, yes, absolutely, let's watch the world burn. Because I truly think if they separate the bloodline, I think you see the world burn. You'll have people jumping off the Empire State Building.
Separate the Usos from Solo and Roman.
Separate Solo from Roman and the Usos. Separate Roman from all of them. Any combination you throw, it's gonna be chaos.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to get too deep into this one. Just because I want to see when the draft is. And I almost want the draft. I want to be like the week before the draft. When Chrome's talking about, possibly doing that show, that preview show, and kind of see where the story's going. Because they're still laying the seeds that something's going to happen within the bloodline. I don't know if it's going to involve Paul or Jimmy or Jay or Solo.
I mean, with everything Paul's been doing to, keep the Usos kind of out of the inner circle in a sense.
Yeah, so
and then
too many moving parts.
Oh, your brother's not here. You got to do it. Hey.
Yeah, too many moving parts, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of transition a little bit. And I want to talk AEW. I don't want to talk a lot of AEW. Damien says, do y'all think Drew will stay in the WWE? Let's talk about that before we talk about AEW. Yes.
I think he will. I think WWE will finally make, I think it's more money than anything. Money position?
I think them not coming to an agreement was their polite way of saying there is a sale coming up. We can't do this right now, without saying there's a sale coming up. We can't do this right now.
That very well could be. I mean, that makes a lot more sense.
And end of the day, whatever it is.
No, that actually makes a lot more sense than.
I can't do this anymore. I fucking agree with Chrome again.
That's it. That's it, everybody. For the night, we're done. And, he's agreeing too much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Fuck. Thank you, Chrome. Chrome says, great job as always. Have to hop off, but have a great evening. Later, buddy. Fuck.
I think at the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head as to what it truly is they holding off on any big contracts until after the sale was done. Now they can really kick back in and start contract negotiations with whoever the hell they want. Sorry, I was reading Todd's comment.
Okay.
It had to do with Drew.
Okay.
You know, I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. Just like in any big sale, any big transaction of a company, they try to hold off on as much as possible until after it's done. Now that the deal is done, they just got to finalize all the big stuff through, you know, government, federal regulations, all that bullshit, stock exchange, get everything changed up. Now they can go back and go, hey, Drew, let's talk again. You know, I know WWE for sure wants to keep Drew. Drew's a big name. He can be he's a top superstar. He really needs that run with the crowd, in my opinion. His title runs never got, in front of a crowd. I want to see what Drew can do in front of a crowd. So I think he stays.
Chris says, I'd pop for Drew Galloway showing up at Wembley Stadium. It's not going to happen.
No, his contract is up to close to the end of the year anyways.
But let's talk.
Let's
Let's transition. I don't want to talk about AEW for long.
You love AEW.
No, I don't. Hold on. Chrome says, my party words for the evening. AEW stinks. They miss Cody and creative. Tony Khan's an overbooking fanboy mark. Good night, boys. Fucking shit.
We need a doctor. Stat.
Like he just took all the fun out of arguing about AEW now because I agree with him.
Give me some toast and 20 cc's of butter, stat. We need to get him going. I think he's hungry is all it is. Wait, give him a Snickers.
Shut up! Like, I don't think you were funny until the Snickers joke. Everything else was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Leave me alone.
No.
AEW.
Andy hates on AEW because he's an amp. Fuck you.
Damn.
No, and I'm not gonna sit for these shots at me. I'm not. Here's my problem with AEW. Yes, do they do long-term storytelling? They absolutely do. Do I have a problem with it? Nope. My problem is some stories should not be drawn out the way they are. They don't need to be. I think this Four Pinnacles story that they're doing with MJF, Sami, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy, I think that's great.
I think this gets them through at least the next 4 months of wrestling.
Well, and you can do it to where you either do 3 individual matches.
Which I think is where they're going.
I hope it's not, though.
Well, the reason I always say it is because MJF right now has currently been dealing with the Jungle Boy thing, so I think...
Yeah, but Sami called him out the other night.
Okay.
Only one I haven't really seen say anything since
the party?
Since that, yeah, is Darby. But again, I don't keep up with AEW a whole like I pay more attention in like the 2-3 weeks leading up to a pay-per-view because I know I'm typically going to watch pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I want to have a clue because I will say, other than the fact that they're long, they're longer than WWE shows every time. I do enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
But to Chrome's point that he made earlier, and I've been saying this about Tony Khan as long as I've had knowledge that he exists, he's booking what he likes as a fan. It's fan service for him. That's all it is. It's how much fan service can I give myself. And that's not always a good thing.
No.
Not having Cody in the company when it was Cody's brainchild. Getting rid of Cody. Essentially put a nail, not the nail, not the final nail, but a nail in the coffin. Chris says, we definitely getting that Punk return. Are you saying that as... I mean, maybe it's because I'm very tired. If you can't tell.
I don't know about Punk. That's on that 50-50 right now.
I don't mind if Punk comes back, though.
No. But I just think right now that's up in the air, honestly.
If anything, here's how I see it playing out. All Out is what, August this year, or All In? Which one's in Wembley? Wembley's August.
All Out? I think it's All Out.
Either way, fuck it. Wembley. We're gonna run this 4 Pinnacle story up to Wembley Stadium. The first U.S. based show, because if I would like to think they're gonna do a little London tour, right? Like a United Kingdom tour. Do a couple shows over there. Like, at least tape some. The first show back stateside, I think, is when you see Punk. I think MJF is stage champion through this. That's why I wanted to be a fatal 4-way match. So he doesn't have to, beat 3 people. Right? He can kind of cheat. It's all in. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
He can kind of use them to beat the others. Like, he can kind of weasel his way to a win.
August 27th.
In a fatal 4-way. I like that. I don't want to have him play dirty to beat three of arguably the best wrestlers the company has.
Yeah, because then you're getting schmoz match after schmoz match after schmoz match.
Yeah.
And it just gets old.
So I'm totally okay with that. And then have Punk come back. And then you can do... And Chris says he thinks the week after is All Out.
Which is so weird. You have All In and All Out.
I really hope that's not the case.
Because I think they announced something about All Out, but I didn't realize.
And here's why. Here's why I say it. AEW, because their pay-per-views are so long, they've done a pretty decent job of spreading things out throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it makes sense to do All In, and then a week later do All Out. That's no different. Like, I didn't even fucking know that this past week was Battle of the Belts.
That was what, just tonight or last night?
It was last night. I had no fucking idea.
Every time they do Battle of the Belts, I never know, and it's always been meant to me.
And he's following the not Starcade, Clash of the Champions formula that WCW used to do back when they were at Disney MGM Studios.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a random night when they were doing a Clash of the Champions. You don't when they get on a soapbox, and I don't want to. I feel like I've been on a soapbox all fucking night. That being said, do you have anything else AEW related that I'm going to care to talk about?
AEW related? I mean,
no. Awesome. You have anything WWE related that you want to talk about?
I think we've hit the nail on all the hits.
All the major points.
Major points, yeah.
Okay, so before we get out of here, let's run through the next few weeks of In This Very Ring content. Okay? So, next week is April 15th. We are not going to be on the air. It is going to be our yearly night off. We do it after every WrestleMania for as long as I can remember. We do WrestleMania, we do the week after WrestleMania, and then we're off for a week. So that'll be the 15th. The 22nd, when we come back, hopefully we have draft information to talk about. That's my hope, is that we're kind of preparing for the draft, or at least some kind of conversation related to it. The 29th is going to be a WrestleMania Backlash preview show, setting up for that event on the 6th. I told you at the start of the evening when I, read off Pete's first comment and Jake's first comment that we had a special announcement related to Birds of a Feather. What was that?
I don't know.
Okay. It's finally happening. I say finally, but we do it every year. But we never do it on this day.
This day.
The very first Thursday in May is May the 4th. So we will be doing our annual, because we've done it I think this will be the third time we've done it.
Yep.
We've done a Star Wars show with me, Butters, Chucks, Jake Friel, Pete Evans, the entire Birds of a Feather crew pretty much. We're going to get together and we're going to do our Star Wars show. This year it will be May the 4th, an A2D Star Wars celebration. So that will be May 4th. May 6th is WrestleMania Backlash. And full disclosure, there's a very good chance we're not on the air that weekend. It sounds like I'm going to have a youth event where we're doing our lock-in. So I will not be available to do the show. As I know more about our lock-in details and when we're starting and different things like that, I will convey those to you guys. But it sounds like we will not be on the air on the 6th. The following week is the 13th. We will be on the air that weekend. We will be talking about WrestleMania Backlash and everything that's transpired past it. And maybe even the draft. The 20th, again, same kind of conversation. Where is the draft going to fall? That's really going to change our thought process on some of these shows that we have coming up. The 27th is Memorial Day weekend. There will not, as of right now, as of April 8th, there will not be a show that weekend. That is Comic Palooza weekend. Butters will be down at the George R. Brown Convention Center here in Houston for Comic Palooza, working with Cards and Comics, our friends up in Conroe. They will have a booth down there. I will be there as a guest, walking around, seeing the different booths.
Fangirling out.
A little bit, because I get to meet Stephen Amell, and I might meet William Shatner. Now, that's not to say we may not do a video depending on what transpires throughout the week. And we may still decide, hey, you know what? We're going to try to pull off a show from the hotel room Saturday night. It's really going to come down to if this man's alive at the end of Saturday night or not. Because they do get crazy. But that takes us all the way through April, all the way through May. Silent Hill will be in town for Comic Palooza, so there is a good chance we might do something having him around. Damien wants to know, last question before y'all end it, speaking of Star Wars, thoughts on Rey coming back for a sequel of Rise of Skywalker? I'll answer that question on May 4th. And the only reason, Damien, I'm answering that question is because I know, because we've already covered the prequels, the original series, and the sequels, I know we're going to spend a lot of time on current Star Wars. So Bad Batch, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Andor, Tales of the Jedi, everything that's kind of come out over the last few years. And then obviously talking about the news that was announced at Star Wars Celebration, including Rey coming back to lead the new Jedi Order. So that's going to be a May the 4th topic for sure. And Dynasty, then we do the roundtable yearly draft. At some point, yes, once we know, and that was what kind of the comment I was making, once we know when the draft is, then we can kind of start plugging in our preview show, our mock drafts, different things like that we've done in years past. But I don't want to commit to any of those until we have a better idea. And hell, who knows? We may do our mock draft on the 22nd just because I have 2 weeks to prepare for it. I don't know. I want to thank you guys all for joining us tonight. I know it's a little bit of a shorter show, but after doing 9 hours last weekend, my brain's still kind of mush. Yeah, right. So we want to thank Specialized Physical Therapy for sponsoring our poll question tonight. Dr. Paul Vidal and his team at Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can catch them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Our topic was WWE Universe holds the Raw and Smackdown after WrestleMania to a very high standard. I agreed to turn around and disagree. Butters agrees with that statement. And then we want to thank Alon's E-Travel for sponsoring the show tonight like they do each and every week. Alon's E-Travel specializes in creating a vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alon's on over to alonz-travel.com/take the trip. Get in touch with myself. Chuck Moranin is also a travel agent at Alon's E-Travel. So 2 of your favorite A2D personalities. But we also have a ton of other travel agents over there. We all specialize in a unique range of things from, like I said, Disney, Universal, cruise lines, all-inclusives. I'm going to put together WrestleMania packages for next year in Philly. So definitely get in touch with us. And let's start planning your next stress-free magical vacation today. Until next time, guys, like I said, no show next week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. So until then, tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, and joy. We're out.